Ma shlomcha? How are you? In Hebrew, when someone asks you, Ma shlomcha, how are you? The typical answer is, Hakol beseder. All's good. Everything's in order. This is the Israeli equivalent of saying, I'm fine. Perhaps we can understand, though, Hakol beseder a little differently this year. At our Passover Sederim that we celebrated, perhaps alone and isolated, simple and unadorned, or still with brisket and all its trimmings, could we all have said, Hakol beseder, all was good? Using a play on words, perhaps we could translate it as Baseder, at our Seder, Hakol. We had everything we needed. An expression of gratitude, even in the midst of crisis. On Seder night, after retelling and maybe even reenacting the Egyptian slavery and the 10 plagues, we stop and say, thank you. We don't just say it once, we say it over and over and over, again and again in the song Dayeinu. It would have been enough. It's a measure-for-measure listing of all the steps of our liberation from Egypt, from the narrowest of places, our rise from the lowest of lows. And who doesn't feel at least a little knocked down right now? Who doesn't feel in a very narrow and low place? At our Seder, we sing line by line that it would have been enough just to receive one of the blessings that God delivered to the Israelites, each its own miracle. The thank yous include basic essentials of food, the manna, shelter, land, to the grand gifts of freedom and the Torah. Living in these times of the pandemic, we feel like we are in a new version of Egypt, and that we each need to be lifted out of these narrow straits. On Seder night at our table, we sang Dayeinu, and we took the time to recount all the blessings in our lives today, recognizing the good that is already ours. In the Musar classic Chavot Levivot, Duties of the Heart, Rabbi Bachya ibn Pekuda tells us there isn't a person alive who hasn't been given gifts, if only the gifts of life and hope. In today's crisis, we seem ever more grateful for the little things: a warm home, a working car, a family, a community, a congregation, the internet and good Wi-Fi, food delivery service, Zoom, telephones, medicine, and of course, friends. Dayeinu reminds us to live with an attitude of gratitude and the importance to take a moment to count our blessings, to say thank you. To God for being there with us, to our Chesed volunteers in our congregation who've delivered Passover essentials to the vulnerable sheltering in place, to our volunteers calling and connecting with those at home, to our frontline healthcare workers, first responders, nursing home staff, government officials, grocery, gasoline, food service, hardware store, drivers, truckers, mail and package staff, to all the essential workers for putting their lives on the line so that we have the care, resources, and support that we need, to our friends who help us get through this as well. Dayeinu, it would have been enough just to have one of them. But Dayeinu, we need you all more than ever. This year's Passover celebration has required both gratitude and resilience. The refusal to be defined by isolation, by fear, and to adapt to new realities. This has been a very challenging time for many of us in our congregation. There are those in our congregational family who are sick. There are those in our congregational family who are scared. There are those in our congregational family who are isolated. There are those in our congregational family who are observing Shiva all alone in their homes. There are those in our congregation who will, if not already, have lost their jobs and their livelihood. We are here for you. Please let us know how we can help, how we can support you. Rabbi Sharon Cohen Anisfield writes in the Jewish Journey Haggadah, when we say Dayeinu, On one level, we are lying to ourselves. We say, it would have been enough, but we know that's not true. We tell this lie in order to cultivate our capacity for gratitude. We exercise our thanking muscles, trying at least for a moment to appreciate each and every small gift as if we really believe it is enough. But of course, we want more. We have hopes. We have dreams for ourselves and for our children. But for their sakes and for our own, we must be able to stop and say, Dayeinu, this is enough for us. Thank God. For a moment, to feel that we have everything we need. That is what it means to say Dayeinu. If you want to join me, Ilu hotzi anu mi Mitzrayim, hotzi anu mi Mitzrayim, Dayeinu, Dayeinu. Ilu hotzi anu mikarona, Dayeinu. Dayeinu. It would have been enough. Thank you. Chag Sameach.